Welcome back to Better Life, Better Business with local business coach and time management expert Christoph Nauer of Balance 6. I'm your host, Rebecca Troxel, founder and CEO of Rebecca's Vault. Now, as a faithful listener, you will remember our two previous podcasts on clarity and goal setting and how critically important those two things are for business success. I'm excited to see what we'll be discussing today to tie it all together. Christoph, what do you have planned for us today?
Well, thanks for asking. Today, I'd like to dive in a little bit more deeply into this complex topic. I've already shared with you my unique and holistic way to goal setting, a way that clearly differentiates me from most business coaches, because I believe that business and personal life are intrinsically intertwined and cannot be separated. And that belief and conviction led to my business name, Balance 6. If you watched my podcast on goal setting, you'll remember the six. Here they are again: time and money, health and relationship, self-improvement, and higher power or spirituality. If we balance those six, we are at our best as business owners, entrepreneurs, employer, boss, spouse, parent, friend, colleague, etc., etc.
Nice.
Let me illustrate my point a little bit about a particular client of mine. She was working crazy long days, 12 to 14 hours, one appointment after another. The to-do list get longer instead of shorter. There's no time for lunch. Clients demand immediate attention to their needs. Each time I'm starting to work on a project, I get interrupted by a phone call or email or an employee walking into my office needing my help, she says. 6 p.m. rolls around, and the family would love to have dinner with me, but there's still way too much to be done. Before I know it, 7 o'clock has come and gone, and I'm getting some angry texts from my spouse. So I take my work and rush home, only to be met with resentment. Of course, I feel guilty for not putting my family first, but there's just so much to do, and the kids learn that mom and dad are never around, always working. They don't have time for me, they think. Or the spouse is upset because there's no time for each other.
Yeah.
And work now flows over into the home. She says, physically, I'm home, but in any other way, I'm not. And I cannot fool my family. It doesn't take a genius to see this will do my health no good, as this leads to big time stress, and we all know what that does.
Yeah.
The relationship with my spouse and kids, the business owner may be home, but is not present. My mind is always somewhere else, constantly checking phone and answering it when it rings.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this will always impact my bottom line because balls get dropped, things don't get done, or I get something, I miss something, or forget something, and business gets lost.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there's more than just one of our listeners out there who can relate to that story. I mean, I can remember a time where that was exactly what life looked like for me, minus the kids, of course. And I just couldn't seem to find a way out of it. So, what can people even do to start to change that?
Well, I think first of all, they have to make the decision that something is not working. They have to decide,
Yeah.
I want to change this. I cannot go on like this because the consequences of not taking action are really going to be drastic. Once they've made that decision, and only then, we can start working on changing this. When we plan our day, we need to take a holistic approach. You hear this word again, holistic. Okay? So here I have a slew of questions prepared for you that you can ponder in preparation for planning your day and your week. And
Okay.
if you include those questions, you ultimately will have the best day ever. Okay? So
Okay.
here they are. What must I accomplish today? What project do I need to focus on? Who do I need to follow up with today? What do I need to do to make progress? What prospect do I need to call? What appointments do I have? What appointments do I need to make? How will I improve my health today?
Mhm.
What meals will I have and where? What time will I get up? What time will I go to bed? What phone calls do I need to make? What spiritual activity will I do today? What will I do for my spouse and for my family? What will I delegate? And what will I do for myself?
Hmm.
What are the most important two outcomes for my day? Now, when you think about what time will you go to bed, that might be a silly question, but I can share with you that a client of mine actually mentioned this as this being a problem for her.
Mhm.
So we talked about it and discussed possible solutions. For instance, how about setting an alarm for a time when you have to get ready for bed and an alarm for lights out?
Now, Christoph, those are a lot of questions. So, how long is it going to take me to go through all that? Because it seems like a lot.
You're right. It is a lot to ponder, and you don't have to ask yourself every single question every single time you plan your day and your week. Okay.
Okay.
This is just an idea to think about those things as well, not just about, oh, what appointment do I have to make with my clients? Who do I have to help and all that kind of stuff. The thing what we have that we currently have on our schedule is all about helping others, being there for clients, etc. This is an idea for people to think and reflect, have I done something for myself? Have I done something
Yeah.
for my spouse or family and so forth? Um, so this is just some possible questions to ponder. It's not
Okay.
meant for us to look at it and go through every single one of them, make sure that's included, because that could be really tedious. It's
Yeah.
just raising the awareness, not just to focus on the bottom line and clients and nothing for ourselves, our loved ones. Usually, I think if you have about 15 minutes or so,
Hmm.
uh, that should do it, but the thing is you have to block the time on your schedule
Yep.
so that you can ponder these questions. Or you can, when you look at your week, you can go over your week and you plan again and see, okay, did I include this stuff? Okay.
Okay.
Or is something missing? And then you can tweak it before you finalize it. And also feel free to change or edit these questions. It is not anything written in stone. This is just meant as a tool to make sure you do something for yourself, as I said before, to take a holistic approach in planning instead of what most of us do is just, focus on one thing.
Nice. Well, for those of our listeners who haven't already, I strongly recommend you go back and watch the vodcast on goal setting, because in that episode, Christoph goes into much more detail about the 6 categories and explains a little further.
Yes, thanks, Rebecca. I think these two podcasts on clarity and goal setting, if you take those along with this one today, that really will prepare you best for goal setting. And if you put them all together and use the suggestions made in them, you're becoming a goal setting master.
That's perfect. Now, I know things like this, whenever we hear them, they are like, oh, yeah, no brainers. But then at the same time, it also sometimes seems like they're just really hard things to implement on your own. So if you're listening to this and you could use some help with implementing these things, you are definitely in luck, because Christoph offers his audience a complimentary business breakthrough session during which you can create a crystal clear vision for your ultimate business success and the perfect lifestyle you'd like your business to create for you. Uncover hidden challenges that may be sabotaging the growth of your business and keeping you working way too many hours. And you also leave the session feeling renewed, re energized, and inspired to turn your business into a highly profitable, revenue generating machine that practically runs itself. I know I felt a lot of those things when I had my business breakthrough session with you several years ago. And now it's even easier, where all you have to do is go to balance6.biz and you can schedule your time with Christoph. So thank you, all of you, for joining us. We'll see you next week for another incredible episode of Better Life, Better Business with Christoph Nauer.
This week's episode of Better Life, Better Business is brought to you by CA&C Video Productions. Since 1985, CANC Video has been providing live streaming, event production, and analog to digital transfer services. They capture those life-changing moments, preserving your history for current and future generations. Because your history matters. Visit their website at cacvideo.com. Thank you so much for your sponsorship.
That's all for now. Thanks for listening to another episode of Better Life, Better Business with business and time management coach Christoph Nauer with Balance 6, the leading business and time management company in Northern California. Visit them at balance6.biz.